Okay, is that Engineer Adams? No. Okay. Just random crewmates hanging out in here. And this is where we initially saw Ashley before she left the squad, but now she's back, and so she has reclaimed her place here in this room. So let's catch up with her.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. All right. Glad to talk. Of course, this is where Thane was hanging out in Mass Effect 2. Rest in peace, Thane. You'll be missed. Okay, still no one in here, though. Elsewhere on this floor? Anything from Dr. Chalkboss? Looks like she's in a different spot. Yeah, what's up, Dr. Chalkboss?
Commander, an opportunity has come to my attention that may interest you.
Okay.
What's going on, Doctor?
Refugees arrived at the Citadel recently in possession of military-grade medical supplies and equipment.
Okay.
In reviewing our inventories, I determined we have an excess of medical supplies to treat contagion, exposure, and malnutrition.
They're equipped to help injured soldiers, and we have supplies to help suffering refugees?
Precisely. Perhaps you could ply your charms to broker a trade.
Sounds like a good idea to make the switch, but why us?
Isn't this something you could do yourself?
War profiteering is running rampant, and these refugees are wary of the Alliance military. They didn't trust me. But you are Commander Shepard, the hero. You could persuade them.
I suppose so.
I'll find the refugees as soon as I can.
Speak with Tactus. Many of the refugees near the Citadel docks look to him for leadership. Thank you, Commander.
He's right next to the cactus.
With access to their equipment and materials, I believe I could increase the effectiveness of our Medigel.
Oh, now we're talking. Okay. So Citadel medical supplies, that adds a new mission to our list. So again, we did basically everything that was possible to do before the Citadel 2, well, Tuchanka, and then Citadel 2 mission. But then we get what is basically a new round of a whole bunch of missions after that. I mean, there were a few things, I suppose, generally DLC related that we waited to do, even if they were available before doing Tuchanka, but other than that, we did everything possible. Okay, nothing in here right now, so good thing we did make a point of checking back in with Chalkboss, though, because that is definitely something we're going to want to pursue. Now, of course, normally Garrus would be in here, but we saw that he was hanging out by our wall with all the names on it, so that means his post is empty. Who's going to calibrate all the weapons? Garrus. Who's going to calibrate the weapons? What if we messed with Garrus' sniper right here? What if we messed with it and see if he realizes that it is decalibrated? Oh man, imagine what Garrus would do. Also, I feel like we've never looked at this spot before. What is this? Garrus? What are you looking at here? Is this one of your tools you use to calibrate stuffs? I want to say it was a map, but not so sure about that. I'm not so sure what it is in truth. Okay, now let's chat with Liara, see if she's anything to say.
Per your orders, I have the latest reports on the Council, Doctor.
Oh?
Their security is in disarray, but it would still be weeks before we could attempt to position any agents in their personal staff.
And it's far too risky after Udina's coup. Postpone those deployments.
At once.
Oh, some devious moves you were trying to make as the Shadow Broker there, perhaps?
Thanks for coming by.
No problem.
Thanks for coming by.
Yeah. Okay, we have an audio recording from Counselor Gujir's Senate office is new. So, Secretary Phillips, the emergency fund's gone, sir. We don't have the credits to hire enough ships to evacuate the colony before the Reapers get here. Not with the prices their captains are asking for. Counselor Gujir. What about the military? They left an hour ago. They said They said it's too much of a risk to come back. Did they? Yes, sir. Here. This is a passkey, sir? And an inventory? Phillips, I'm authorizing you on behalf of this city's Senate to seize any and all EZO stockpiles in our treasury in order to secure safe passage for our citizens on any available ships. These look like private stockpiles. Senate members' stockpiles. I'm foregoing re-election. Now get us those ships. Yes, sir. Sacrificing their own EZO stores? Or do they have access to the EZO stores for the entire Senate and just gone, I have no plans to get reelected, so I'm just gonna sabotage everyone's EZO stockpile and, or at least all the senators' EZO stockpiles and give them to the people so they can help escape. Alright, let's see. There might be more intel terminal stuff here. There is intel from the Battle of Arcturus. Is this the one that we looked at before where, yeah, either weapon damage or shield strength bonus? I have not yet checked to see if this is party-wide or if it's just for Shepard. So, I mean, it's 5%, so it's like not a huge deal either way, but the shield strength would be preferable for us specifically. We don't do that much in the way of weapons damage because we're mostly just throwing out the occasional acolyte shot to get rid of shields, but we don't really need much weapon damage outside of that because we're relying primarily on our biotics. So yeah, we would prefer shields. If it counts for our entire party though, then giving extra weapon damage to Garrus would be comical because he's already seemed like
Dr. Tassoni found useful information in the data you recovered, Commander.
Okay. It's a little odd, Glyph, how you seem to choose to speak with us immediately after we start to leave. But, yeah, I think we saw on that mission, Garrus might have, like, 3-shot an Atlas with the Typhoon. It was ridiculous. I'm pretty sure we primed it with a warp, or at least we gave it the debuff so that it takes extra damage from other sources with warp, and so maybe that's why Garrus took it down so quickly, but honestly, we blinked. Like, we hit it with a warp, and then we got into cover or, you know, had other things that we were attending to for a split second, glanced back over at the Atlas, and I think we were probably trying to follow up with a warp or a throw to set off a biotic combo, and then we looked over there and we were like, where did the Atlas go? Because Garrus, turns out Garrus had already killed it. So he was pretty quick about that. All right, let's head back down to engineering though. And let's see if there's anyone else down here who would like to comment on that mission.
The Citadel in flames. A brazen attack by Cerberus repelled by CSEC. Alliance Marines explain the Council fleet's delayed response. We speak with the brave men and women who fought the good fight in the battle space.
Okay, so remember, Allers sent us that email saying that she was interested in doing a longer interview with us to get all the details on that coup. So that is something we could do now. Or we could wait to do it a little bit later. I mean, I guess we can.
Commander, I've got some questions about the coup, but I'm online with my producer right now.
Oh,
Can we
okay.
set up an interview in your cabin?
Oh, right, she wanted to go into the cabin. Okay, maybe, but maybe on a later occasion. And of course, there's also Javik.
Traitors are the worst form of enemy. In our cycle, we would remove their limbs one by one and offer them a choice. Eat their own flesh or starve. Your politician deserved far worse than a bullet. And if the other human had not seen reason, her death would be certain too. There is only one enemy in this war. Reapers. No others will be tolerated.
Okay. Yeah. So, thanks, Javik. You may have a point. Yes, the Reapers are, first and foremost, our primary enemy, yes. However, ripping people's limbs off one by one and feeding them to those people, that's maybe a little bit too far.
I would like to visit the Citadel sometime, when it is not infested with traitors.
Yeah, you know, I'd rather not bring you along only to see you ripping people's limbs off. You know, that would probably get a little bit of negative attention. Just thinking. Probably not the kind of crowd we want to be creating.
I've heard about the Kyleng human you encountered. It is good to have a name for the enemy I will enjoy killing most.
I mean, technically, he's part of Cerberus, not the Reapers. So, by the very outline that you were just giving us, Reapers are our only enemy. Anyone else is a waste of time, so that would mean that Kyleng, as a member of Cerberus, is a waste of time, not really our real enemy, but does seem as though, at least what with the Elusive Man starting to use Reaper technology on his own troops, perhaps that line is getting a little bit blurred here. I mean, obviously, Cerberus has been a major antagonist thus far. In some ways, we fought them more often than we fought the Reapers at this stage.
Yes.
Okay, so that seems like all from Javik. Then anyone else down here with whom we would like to speak? I don't think there's anyone in Jack's spot, right? Or at least the spot that once belonged to Jack.
Gavi, have you ever seen recordings of Liara's mother, Matriarch Benesia?
Yes? What about her?
And remember Samara, the Asari Justican?
Where are you going with this, Kenneth?
My thoughts exactly.
Have you noticed that older Asari women seem to be a bit more ample? Do you think they just keep growing?
Kenneth!
I think I'll spend my sunset days in an Asari retirement home.
If I don't kill you first.
You know, Daniels, you have a point. I'm with you on this one. Donnelly, it's a little bit too far, perhaps.
Nothing to report, Commander.
Those FBA couplings you got us are still holding up.
Nice. That was, of course, a side quest that we did previously.
My board is green.
Alright, but otherwise, sounds like things are going well down here. So, in that case, let's head all the way down the shuttle bay, and remember that we heard that James wanted to speak with us.
Never thought I'd be doing a combat drop onto the Citadel. I can't believe Udina. Great example to the other races, huh?
I guess so. Alright. We could potentially buy some upgrades and what have you, but I think we're good for right now. We were pretty aggressive with that in the not-so-distant future. Or not-so-distant past, I should say. James.
Hey, Commander.
Hello.
I knew Udina was a dirty bastard, but I never would have guessed he was that rotten. This whole war is loco. I mean, can't they all see how we need to work together?
When people are scared, they're slow to trust.
Sure, but... what's the point? Look, just so you know, I've got a new shoot first, ask questions later policy when it comes to politicians.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you know, that might get us in trouble if we're not careful about that. Shooting politicians is, yeah, you know, that's probably started many, many wars, but... Okay, James. Alright, is that all he wanted to chat about, though?
Hey.
Perhaps it was. I mean, certainly a reflection on our previous mission, but not like he had an extended conversation that he wanted to have with us. Again, yeah, we could buy some stuff, but I think we're fine for now. So that means I think we've spoken to just about everyone. The one thing that we could still potentially do here would be heading up to the captain's cabin to have that interview with the reporter, Diana. So it's an option, but there is actually, I think, I'm trying to remember if we need to do this right away, if we can technically wait for it. So there is something else that I wanted to make sure that we did in the pretty near future that I would probably prioritize over this, but alright, we'll do it. Let's see, so we go here. Yeah, we have the option to invite Trainer, either Trainer up. Remember, she had spoken to us about a game night, but also Diana wanted to come up here for an interview. So it might be that we technically need to do Trainer first, or we might get a pop-up here giving us the option of choosing who we bring up with us. So I suppose either way, sure, we'll do it. And it might be Trainer, it might be that we have the option to choose between Trainer and Diana Allers, but we'll see.
Trainer, if you're not doing anything, I've got a few hours free. Would you like to come up?
Your cabin is gorgeous. I've seen apartments smaller than this. Well, Commander, ready to play?
Play.
I picked up a chessboard on the Citadel. GUI interface, not nearly as nice as real pieces, but this takes up less space. And I recall you delivered something that closely resembled a challenge. So, interested?
Did we? Because, yeah, I have a bad feeling about this. This is giving me strong, it's a trap vibes.
This is a trap, isn't it?
Exactly.
I'm just a simple lab scientist, Commander. I'm sure your real-world expertise will give you an edge. Ha!
Oh, come on.
My word, Commander. It's almost as though you wanted to spare your pawns the indignity of living under my regime.
In real life, that tactic would have worked.
Well, in real life, one doesn't move on an 8x8 square grid.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean. The pawns are infantry. A good infantry line, like the Krogan, can take a charge like that.
That reminds me of a joke. What's the difference between Commander Shepard and a Krogan?
Uh-oh, I don't like where
One
this is
an
going.
unstoppable juggernaut of head-butting destruction.
Hey, that us or is that the Krogan?
And the other doesn't have a smart-ass comm officer to keep him in line.
Ooh, that's even better than the number of testicles punchline.
Oh.
I'm glad you didn't run back to the lab, Trainer.
Thanks. So, rematch?
Hell yes.
Okay, so there's a little chat with Trainer, who, as it turns out, is a bit of a chess expert, a savant, if you will. Lids, she's a grandmaster. Clearly, her elo is almost to that. Like I don't know, man. I don't know. Okay, I'm no chess expert, but so we can also bring up Diana Allers if we would like. So I suppose while we're at it, why not?
Trainer, can you send Diana up? She wanted an interview.
Right away, Commander.
Ready for a chat, Commander?
I'm ready.
Commander, it's no secret that Council Space has suffered some serious losses to the Reapers lately. Now Cerberus has struck directly at the seat of our government. If something as small as a human terrorist organization can hit the Citadel, is anywhere safe?
Ooh. Pointed question, Diana. But you see, they tried, but they failed, because we were there to stop them.
Cerberus has limited resources. This coup attempt was likely the best they could do, and it cost them a lot of money and troops. A little fear is understandable, but it can't paralyze you. They've failed as many times as they've succeeded.
But humanity has lost its counselor. The Alliance Parliament is destroyed, and the Prime Minister's dead. The line of succession is getting pretty short. How long do you expect any new Alliance administration to last?
Well, sounds like you're insisting on being a bit of a negative Nancy here, so you see, the thing is you can't lose faith.
Leaders will rise. You can't lose hope. Our enemies won't rest until they've taken the last human being. Until then, we're not beaten. Right now, it's everyone's duty to step up.
All right. Now a question from Thessia. Commander, during your tribunal, some said you had Cerberus ties.
This question again.
Thanks for your time, Commander. This is Diana Allers for Battlespace. Good night, and stay strong. Be careful, Commander. You keep feeding me like this, and I'll follow you home.
Okay, so one thing that I was going to mention when we brought up Trainer, and is now also potentially a factor when bringing up Diana Allers here, is that when you do invite people up to your cabin like this, there oftentimes may be opportunities to put on some schmooze, if you know what I mean, and try to go the romance route, which we did not try to do with Trainer. And let's just say, although I didn't test it out there by attempting to go that route, let's just say that in some cases it may work, in other cases it may not work for you. In this case, yes, we could attempt to pursue something with Diana here, but no, see, we are taken. We are a taken man. Tally is our lady, and we're gonna keep it that way, so we're gonna keep this professional.
I think we're just fine in front of the camera.
Oh, did you think? Of course you did. Me and my big mouth. I'd better get out of here before I send another wrong signal. See ya, Commander.
The camera gets right up in our face and then turns around. Okay, we actually get a War Acid update from that. Probably because we were able to hit the charm option there. I imagine that we wouldn't have gotten that if we had failed that speech check. Okay, is that everyone that we can invite up?
James, I've got some time if you want
James
to
as well, right. He wanted to chat.
On my way.
I guess he wants to chat up here, not down in
Hey, man,
the
how's
docking
it
bay.
going?
Good, James. You?
Good, good. Wow. So this is what I can look forward to when I get my own command.
You want your own ship, Vega?
Yeah, maybe one day. When I'm old and I can't fight worth shit anymore.
Whoa, slow down there,
You
Vega.
just come up here to make fun of your commander?
Sorry, Loco. I guess maybe I got some things on my mind. I wanted to get your opinion on something.
Okay.
Shoot.
What did you do when they asked you to join the N7 program? I mean, was it a no-brainer for you, or did you think about it before accepting?
So again, I think we were talking about this a little while back. It is the most prestigious Special Forces rank among the Alliance military. We were N7 as Commander Shepard. Kai Lang apparently was also N7, so it is very prestigious. And it sounds like perhaps, maybe James got offered to join the program as well. So, I mean, maybe it was a no-brainer, but I don't know. I mean, perhaps it took a little bit of thought.
The N7 program is a big deal, but it's also a big commitment.
I hear that.
You get the best training, best equipment, best assignments.
And they expect the best in return.
Yes, they do. Why you asking?
Well, even all the shit that's going on, somebody somewhere managed to track me down and forward an N7 commendation. It's dated the same day the Reapers attacked Earth.
You don't sound too thrilled.
Well, aside from the fact that there won't be an N7 program if we don't win this war, being a soldier's the only thing I've ever been really good at. And not because I try. Hell, I'd have kicked my ass out years ago. Last time I had a command, I lost almost everyone, and they promoted me for it. I guess I'm just not sure if I'm ready to lead again. I don't know if I want that responsibility.
And that is a reference to Paragon Lost, which, as we talked about a little bit previously, is the animated movie of sorts about James and his backstory. And I won't go into too many of the details here because I don't want to spoil that for you, but if you haven't watched it, I recommend that you do, because James, of course, just kind of got thrown straight in Mass Effect 3, and we hadn't met him before then, so we didn't know much of anything about him, and then he just became a squad member. So I think for a lot of people, it's kind of like, well, who's this James guy, and what is he doing here? We didn't invite him, and for that reason, people may have been a little bit slow to warm up to James, but I think learning more about him and understanding his backstory and getting to know him more as a character by watching the Paragon Lost movie is a great way to, well, just, I think better respect James and his contributions to the team, because I think without that, he does oftentimes get thrown in conversations as one of the worst Mass Effect teammates in the entire trilogy, which I think is a little unfair to him. It does take a little more digging, a little more effort, because a lot of that stuff does happen outside of the game. So it's tough, yes, but I think that it is, at least if you consider yourself a big Mass Effect fan, I think it's worth doing it for yourself, seeing what Paragon Lost is all about, and then make the judgment. Do you still think James is, well, not one of my favorites? Or is it, once you learn more about him, suddenly, oh, well, you know what? Now I can understand where he's coming from with some of the things that he's said and done, and I respect him more for it. So yeah, what exactly happened?
You mentioned that before. What went wrong?
What didn't go wrong? We were out on patrol, checking on some strange readings, and the collectors hit. But they hit the colony first. By the time we got back, most of the colonists had been subdued or abducted, including our CO, Captain Tony.
So you were in charge?
Yeah. We laid low for a bit, waiting for a chance to strike, but before we could, we were betrayed. One of the colonists turned out to be a Cerberus spy working with the collectors. I had no choice. I killed him and destroyed the collector ship. But it got ugly. We lost most of the colonists and all but one of my squad. Not exactly a textbook operation.
May not have been a textbook operation, but you heard it there. He destroyed a collector ship. That's saying something. That was one of our crowning achievements in Mass Effect 2, so for James to have done that before he even joined our team, that's impressive. I mean, yes, it was not without losses, so not perfectly executed, unlike at least a well-executed suicide mission that we completed at the end of Mass Effect 2, but there's something to be said for pulling off what probably still would, by many accounts, have seemed to have been impossible, taking down a collector ship, so still did the right thing.
You can't blame yourself for being put in a tough situation. And if you were promoted, then something must have gone right.
Sure, but
if you'd saved them all, would things have worked out better?
I don't know. I don't think so.
The right choice is usually not the easy one.
Yeah. Did you know that before you joined the N7?
Yeah. That's why I was asked. And it's why they asked you. There's not a single N7 that hasn't sacrificed, either themselves or their soldiers at some point.
So you think I should accept?
I mean, it is up to you, but it sounds like you want to do it, you're just wary that, or well, some aspects sound intriguing to you, but you have that doubt in the back of your mind of the whole, well, see, I want to do this, but last time I was in a leadership role, things did not go perfectly, and as we were just saying, I mean, still did what was in many ways a nearly impossible thing, achieved that. Yes, did lose all but one of his squad mates in the process, but I mean, that's still an impressive feat, because if not for him, then perhaps everyone, himself and that squad mate that survived included, would have been toast. So, you know, maybe it is worth doing it.
Assuming we survive this, that's a no-brainer. You're a damn good soldier, Vega. Don't waste that opportunity.
I'll think about it. Seriously. If you don't mind, maybe don't mention this to anyone else.
Of course not.
Gracias. Well, I think I better get back to the hangar. Things here, it's a little too soft for me.
The bed's a lot harder than it looks.
I'll take your word for it.
Whoa there, Shepard.
Anytime.
Alright, and then we get Carnage, which is one of James's abilities, unlocked as a bonus power, so that's one of the benefits of bringing up all these squad mates and having these chats with them, is that is generally the way that you unlock additional abilities, so good thing that we made a point of doing that. So I think that's the last of the people that we can bring up here. Yeah, now we're back to the usual email and squad selection screens over there. So let's head back down then to the CIC. Oh, Admiral Anderson is available to talk with us. Okay, sure.
Commander Shepard.
Yes, hello. Do you have something specifically that you wish to speak with us about? We have important business to attend to with Captain Anderson, Admiral Anderson. Oh, no, hold on. Don't mind us. Don't mind us. Alright, what is the deal here, Anderson? We have a problem?
Shepard. I was hoping you'd check in again.
You okay?
Been putting my old academy training to use. Organizing the resistance. You know, you've got quite a fan club back here. Any news we hear about the Normandy gives hope to the guys in the trenches.
That's definitely good to hear.
I know what that's like, fighting in the dark. I'm glad we're making a difference.
It's more than that. A lot of these people have never held a gun in their life.
Oh, that's not good.
When they heard that you managed to get the Torians and Krogan to cooperate, that was a shot in the arm, Shepard. Of the one thing we're in short supply around here, faith. That any of us will live to see another day.
How bad is it?
It could be worse, but not much.
Can you still coordinate any kind of counterattack?
We're hitting the Reapers every chance we get. Mostly guerrilla-style hit-and-runs, but it's not enough. It's time we started focusing our efforts.
Okay.
Where?
London. Something big is happening there. Our networks in the UK say the Reapers have arrived in huge numbers.
That doesn't sound good.
I don't like the sound of that. Any more details?
No. And that scares the hell out of me.
Well, the Crucible will scare the hell out of the Reapers.
We're counting on it. Oh, and Shepard, I meant what I said earlier about Kai Lang. The Reapers may seem like our biggest threat, but take it from me. Lang is a vicious bastard. Don't underestimate him.
Noted.
Then I'll let you get back to it. We need whatever good news you can send our way. Anderson out.
Alright, some more from Anderson, and a little bit of reputation for that out of curiosity. I haven't really spent much time looking at this recently, but how much is our reputation bar getting filled? It is almost at that second to last bar there, and it is almost entirely filled with the blue Paragon-y stuff, so that's a good sign, I think. We also have 3 squad points, which we might have been... yeah, I guess, we could put it into Shockwave and get 1 level there. Can't yet do Cluster Grenade. I think we were saying that pull is not really of interest to us, but as we were talking about recently, we've just now gotten the ability to add on several different bonus powers, and I think I was mentioning how, theoretically, my plan was for us to probably go and get Edie's Defense Matrix as our bonus power, which we did just recently unlock. So that is now an option. There could be some alternatives. That is, of course, a purely defensive ability, and one that actually comes with a bit of an offensive downside because it will increase the amount of time it takes before we get our biotic abilities off cooldown. And since, jinxing myself a little bit here, but since we've been doing okay from a survivability standpoint thus far, perhaps that isn't really necessary, and we might actually prefer to instead go a more offensive route and, say, use some kind of power that helps us deal with shields, because that is generally our biggest weakness as a biotic. Is our biotic abilities really effective against armor, generally effective against barriers. Certainly enemies that just have HP will just singularity them and blast them to bits with an explosion once we throw a warp at them. But the shields are tough because many enemies are either not affected at all or not affected very much by biotics when they have shields on. That's why the Acolyte has been our weapon of choice, because it is so good against shields specifically, with a 500% damage multiplier against them. But if we had an ability that was really good against shields and just pressed a button to remove them all from an enemy, then that would be pretty sweet too. So from an offensive standpoint, that would definitely be the preferred route for us to take. It's just, is it worth sacrificing the defensive benefits of something like Defense Matrix to make it happen? It's hard to say. Hard to say. And let's see. From that conversation... okay, this is the one with Chakwas that we had previously. We got a side quest in that. The Normandy's doctor has noted a group in the refugee camp that has military medical supplies, but needs simple civilian necessities. Meet Tactus, next to the cactus, in the refugee camp to broker a trade. I was wondering if we might have gotten something from Anderson after that conversation, but it doesn't look like it. So that is maybe just something to keep in the back of our minds, is that it does seem as if the Reaper threat on Earth is... I mean, it is always huge, but it seems as though it is coming to a little bit more of a, well, it's becoming an even bigger issue. And things are centering around London, or at least we expect that to be the case. So, let's see. As we were saying, we have a few options here in terms of what we can do next, because we unlocked a whole bunch of quests once we finished doing Citadel 2. So, there are many things we could do, but in this case, I think we actually will choose to go... Where did you go? 2, 4... Actually, older stuff. Priority Perseus Veil. The Quarian fleet offers both technical specialists and support ships to assist with the Crucible. Meet the Quarian admirals and obtain their help in the war effort. So let's at least open up our map here. And that may be the next thing we're looking to do. But if we leave orbit, let's at least see if there are perhaps new places that we've not yet explored before we go on other missions, because as we've said before, it is generally a good idea to explore places before we do missions. That way, if they get overrun by Reapers, we can do that mission, and after we're done with the mission, the Reapers are no longer mad at us if, say, we get overrun by them. But those are all systems we've been to. Sigurd's Cradle, 100%. Valhalla Threshold might be new, and it does not have any number on it right now, so that might be worth taking a quick look at. Minus Wasteland, 100%. Nimbus Cluster also does not have anything on that. Athena Cluster also doesn't have anything on that. See, I think there are some new places here that might be worth taking a quick look. Let's perhaps try the Valhalla Threshold. And these are probably places where some side quests might pop up. So let's see. Firstly, we have Rahil Leia, and we have Micah and Paz. So this is actually a relatively big place. There are seemingly no planets here at all. It's a little bit strange. Might in fact be the only time we've seen that. Oh, hold on. That is not... I don't think that's the mass relay that's giving us that sound effect.
Signal confirmed.
A little bit far away for that to trigger, but okay. 0 assets recovered here. Out of curiosity, how much fuel do we have right now? So we are full. That might mean it is not worth taking whatever this thing is here, because I have a feeling it might be fuel. That is generally what pops up when we are scanning something that is not directly on a planet. And I think we determined that even if you leave the system and come back on a later occasion, this will remain scanned, so we won't need to guess again as to where this thing is. So I think we wait, because obviously picking up fuel when we have full fuel is completely useless to us. But before we go further here, let's take a second to verify. Wait, hold on. Where was this system? It is Valhalla Threshold, Rahil Leia, or Valhalla Threshold, generally speaking. Let's see if we have any quests that say to us, yep, that there might be something in Valhalla Threshold. That there is. The Prothean data drives are apparently here. So the Alliance soldier knows the location of Prothean data drives that could help with the Crucible project. Cover from Garvug in the Valhalla Threshold. Okay, so that gives us the answer for where we're looking to go. Garvug. Garvug. So presumably that is in one of these neighboring systems. I guess that is the sound of the mass relay. But it seemed like we were kind of far away, and that's why I'd done a scan there. I was expecting for this fuel to pop up like right next to the mass relay. It's actually a bit of a pleasant surprise that it turned out it was close enough that it still got scanned, even though I think it was actually a bit of a false positive with the mass relay sound effect. Let's go to pause. These are both pretty far away, but since we're on a full tank here, I'm hoping we'll be fine. This is a pretty small place as well. And Garvug is the planet that we just learned about. The place that we are expecting to find something for that very mission that we were just reading about. So let's scan this.
I found something.
Oh boy. I'm really hoping that this is the only thing in this system that we need, because as you saw from how quickly that Reaper alertness bar filled up, one more scan would surely have them invade this system. So let's check out Garvug. In 354 CE, Garvug was considered a bargain world, given to the Krogan to placate them because no one else wanted to live on such a frozen rock. Technically a life-bearing world, Garvug had a small farm belt around its equator and well-insulated marine life in its seas. By the turn of the century, the Krogan had completely adapted, breeding hundreds of younglings per family in vast underground bunkers. It's kind of what the Krogan did, at least before the Genophage. By the turn of the next century, Garvug's narrow strips of coral reef had been destroyed by overfishing and pollutants, and excess Krogan took to the stars to find another planet to consume. Garvug was treated as an object lesson by the Citadel Council. Krogan could not be trusted to check their own numbers. And that is, in many ways, at least the general thought process that led to people assuming, namely Solarians and Eturians, assuming that the Krogan needed to be slowed down using something like the Genophage. Today, Garvug is a frozen wasteland, home to corporate eco-engineering efforts trying to implement sustainable agra and aquaculture practices. Krogan and Vorcha packs are a constant threat, and the corporations pay mercenaries well to keep their operations safe. Okay, and yeah, it is minus 30 degrees Celsius, although 5 degrees at the equator, so that explains the whole, well, most of it is not really a place where you want to be hanging out, but 5 degrees is also pretty cold, but livable, I suppose. 1G gravity, atmospheric pressure is pretty normal as well. Let's scan this place, though, because we are expecting to find something here of the Prothean variety. Here it is. Okay, yeah. Prothean data drives. So that is something that we heard about from that Alliance dude hanging out in the area, or hanging around the dock area on the Citadel. And so we're going to want to turn that into him to, complete that quest. However, I am displeased to see that number there below pause. 50% assets recovered means that, yes, there is in fact something else here, which means we are going to need to scan one more time in order to get it. That is assuming we know where it is. And once we do so, we're going to get raided by Reapers, and they're coming from all sides here. So, it would have been kind of nice to finish on Garvug since it's right next to the exit. But, okay, let's see if we can figure out where this other thing is and then plan our escape route when we find it. We're listening for a sound effect here. And we're really hoping that we don't hear it right next to one of those red arrows. There it is. Okay. It's pretty far away, fortunately. It's probably fuel, because, again, it's not on a planet, and generally we found that resources not on a planet are fuel. So, it's not strictly necessary that we get it. We did spend a little bit of fuel to get here. But I think we can go scan this, try to immediately get it, and then flee in this direction, since there are no Reapers coming from that side, so it's not the worst place for it to pop up. We're right on top of it, fortunately. It is, I think, fuel. 160 units is enough for us to cap off our fuel. Now we run.
Reapers eluded.
Reapers have been eluded. Now we go to Micah, which I'm pretty sure is a system that we were visiting in a previous Mass Effect. Big asteroid belt here. Oh, including Kakabel. Let's check it out. Probably would have missed it. The second asteroid in the system formed around the Element Zero core. Sounds like there's going to be another important asteroid for us to check out then. Kakabel is another carbonaceous asteroid with a surface made of hydrated minerals such as carbonates and clays. Beneath its icy surface is liquid water with some amino acids. Oh, potentially early signs of, maybe not life, but soon to be life on an asteroid. The surface of Kakabel is pitted and scarred from strip mining stations, with strip mining stations, where the Quarians took as much ezo as possible before moving on. Okay, so this is a pretty remote part of the galaxy, and perhaps makes sense that it might have received some Quarian attention in that case. Did you say that was one? Oh, I see another asteroid over here, or maybe dwarf planet. One of a trio of asteroids formed around the Element Zero core. I do like when there are these little asteroids or dwarf planets hiding in asteroid belts. It feels like that just seems so much more realistic and feels kind of rewarding for being thorough with our exploration. So Farlos is the easiest to mine for low-yield EZO. A carbonaceous asteroid, Farlos has a trace of water-bearing minerals and organic carbon in the form of kerogen. Okay, and as was the case with the other asteroid, there's not much in the way of an atmosphere, gravity, or also the temperature is going to be really, really cold. Okay, so in theory, there's another planet out here. I see something on this far side. Israfil. Might this be the third of the EZO trio? Yes, largest of the EZO trio. This looks like an actual planetoid. Israfil is a silicate hemi-carbonaceous asteroid. It is home to approximately 40 species of microorganisms in its liquid water, and was blamed as the source of the prion-based biowarfare agent EHE, exotic humanoid encephalopathy, used by the terrorist group Totenkopf in their attack on Gagarin Station in 2184. That was Mass Effect 2, 2184. Is that something that we did? Oh, wait. Is that a mission we did in Mass Effect 2? Do we know about that? We might. While many of the scientific community protested that Israfil did not have sufficient atmosphere or evolutionary history to sustain life at the Prion level, I'm not exactly sure how you say that, the asteroid and its EZO miners were nevertheless quarantined to reassure the public that the Systems Alliance was taking action. Though no evidence has yet been found that EHE originated from Israfil or was even synthesized in a local lab, the SSV Manila and a team of epidemiologists maintain watch over the asteroid's ship traffic for now. There is a population of about 1,000, and again, it's an asteroid, so it's basically no gravity, basically no atmosphere, and therefore is extremely cold. I did not mean to do that. Oops. Well, we have scanned Israfil. It was not intended. But now we know that there's nothing there. Okay. Guess we'll see what else is in the area. We have Duma. Home to 51 moons, including the prehistoric moon Anaphil. Duma is a standard hydrogen-helium gas giant with violent surface winds exceeding 1,900 kilometers per hour. Like its sister planet Elohi, it is believed to be an extrasolar capture. Okay. Now, we don't really know much about the system. And I don't think... Oh, or saying that I thought I remembered us being here in Mass Effect 1 or Mass Effect 2? I don't remember any of these names. So we can't really abide by our previous theory of the whole scan the planet that you had a mission on in Mass Effect 1 or Mass Effect 2, and then search the space between in the system for fuel, basically, yeah, fuel. We have Elohi, a small hydrogen-helium gas giant, a small giant, formed around a metallic hydrogen core. Elohi was the site of a rare astronomical event late last year. The comet Asaro completed its orbit of 70 galactic standard years and traveled so close to the giant that it was captured as a moon. Dozens of space probes from around the galaxy recorded this moment. Elohi is within the frost line of its parent star, where gas giants do not usually form. For this reason, it is believed to be an extrasolar capture. Okay, so I'd like to believe we can scan 2 times, at least on the second scan. The second subsequent scan, the Reapers would attack. So we do have some time here. We don't need to get this next scan perfectly, but as I was just saying, we don't really have any big hints here as to what we want to scan unless we hear sound effects. This place is a little bit bigger. So this could be a tough one, especially since I accidentally scanned when we were leaving from that planet on the far corner of the system, which, I mean, we might have chosen to scan at some point, but we probably could have been... Is that something there? No? We probably could have been, not right on the edge of the system. Could have been, like, right here, for example, and potentially scan both Israfil and Duma in one scan, which probably would have been preferable. As I was saying, we don't really have an obvious answer planet-wise as to what we want to scan. And since there are all those asteroids, which are pretty spread out, that makes it really tough to know when and where we should scan. There are lots of options here. I don't think I heard anything. I don't think I heard anything at all. Oh. Oh, here's something though. Okay.
Signal confirmed.
Okay. Okay. Well, the Reapers are interested, but we do have some stuffs here. Let's start with the fuel. It's 340 units, which, yes, is enough to top us off here. And then it turns out, oh, that's 33%. So there are 3 things in here. We get the fuel. We have this from Farlos. And there is one other thing here, which, if we are to scan it, we're going to get the Reaper attention. So, I mean, we might give it a shot here, but I don't know. It's going to be a risk, of course. Let's see what we get here. It's Element 0 Converter. It's a war asset. So that's great. At times, we've seen that the war assets we've gotten from planet scanning, they've been pretty potent. So that might be a pretty big one. Pretty big addition, potentially. So that's nothing to snuff at. But now the thing is that we have 1 scan. And Reaper's going to attack us after we do that. Reapers are coming from primarily right there, right where we just did that previous scan. So good thing we got that one done. But let's see, we've checked that. That's where the other Reaper is coming from. So, you know, might we get super aggressive here and try doing a scan here between these 2 planets? Doing so will, of course, get Reaper attention. But then we make our run, and as we do so... Did I hear something there? No? No. We make our run this way as the Reapers approach from that side and that side. Should have enough of a distance between us that we still have some time to make our escape this way and perhaps scan Cockabell as well. These Reapers might get pretty close and cut us off before we do that. Okay, so before we try this, because this will probably be the most daring scan that we've done thus far, let's save. Because it is, remember, a game over if the Reapers catch you. So, it's not mess around in that sense. But, we scan here, and then run for it. Okay, that is the last one. Reapers are here, but I believe we will find that if we come back to make Micah on a subsequent occasion, that will still highlight the planet that we have scanned, and that way we don't need to do this whole guessing game of which planet do we scan? Is it actually a planet that we have to look for to get the stuff that we need? Or is it just that there's some place in the middle of the galaxy, or middle of the system somewhere that we don't know about that has a hidden fuel cache? So there's that. Let's head back to our mass relay. And now that we are no longer on full fuel, sure, why don't we get this, because it's probably fuel. That it is, oh, almost nothing. It's 95 fuel. And that is everything here. So yeah, it seems like Micah, that last planet that we scanned, which we might have been able to go to and complete the scan on, but I mean, I wasn't sure at the time if it was going to have anything or not, so I was just focusing on get out of there and try to get to the next spot we want to scan as quickly as possible. And so even if the Reapers technically don't move in on you as you're actually clicking on a planet and doing the scan there, like I said, we should be able to get back there on a later occasion when the Reapers are no longer attacking, and we should still know that that is the planet that we want to go to. And so that means we just have one thing that we're missing at the Valhalla threshold, and we know where it is, so that's a good sign. Otherwise, there is this Nimbus cluster where we have the mission for the investigating the Asari colony. We might wait to explore this cluster because, well, we know we have a mission there, so we'll have reason to go there soon. And the Athena Nebula, I don't know if we know about any missions there. Let's take a quick look at our journal, perhaps. Athena. Anything Air raid, do we know where that is? It might be there. I mean, we know that this mission exists, but I don't think we saw it popping up anywhere. Or at least not in any of those systems that we were looking at. Sauna distress signal. Oh, this is the one for the sorry that we were just looking at. Priority Perseus Veil. It's definitely not the one we were just looking at. Well, Holland Threshold, we got the item, but we need to turn this in. Cerberus Turian poison? What? A doctor on the Citadel is looking for a Cerberus poison tailored to Turians? Find a sample of the toxin and deliver it to the Puerto Memorial Hospital. Way to cure the poison, right? I vaguely remember having this discussion with someone, but with no context, or at least not remembering the context, it does sound pretty terrible. Like, oh yeah, you know, we're just looking to poison some Turians, don't mind us. Like, what? Excuse me? Are you sure about that? Should I trust you? Okay, Cillian Nebula, Rings of Elune. I don't think we have seen this place yet either. So, yeah. I think the question is mostly just... Oh, what? We did scan this. Apparently we've not turned it in yet. I hope this guy is still in the Citadel Embassy, because some NPCs on the Citadel either relocate or actually disappear after the Cerberus coup, and that is the key reason why there are several missions, several side quests that you need to make sure that you finish before you do Priority Tuchanka, because of course, immediately after you finish Priority Tuchanka, that's when Cerberus attacks the Citadel, and once Cerberus attacks the Citadel, those NPCs aren't there anymore, so ipso facto, it means that you need to finish the side quests for some NPCs before Priority Tuchanka, otherwise you just won't have the chance to turn them in at all. So I hope that we can still turn this one in, because I think we've done the hard part. We've gotten the Prothean obelisk in question. We just apparently did not make a point of talking to that Volus diplomat. So yeah, I hope he's still there. I would think that if he is no longer there, that it would get grayed out and it would basically count as us having failed the mission. So that gives me some hope, dare I say. But that we should have turned in, of course, before we did Priority Tuchanka. I think that was a relatively late one that we did, and so we might not have realized that we had forgotten to do the formal quest completion component of just letting the guy know, hey, by the way, here's your Prothean obelisk. But okay. So, yeah, my guess is that Array might be in the Athena cluster, which means, yes, we will have a mission there in the future, which means, yeah, we can probably wait to visit and explore this area until we end up doing that mission. That'd probably be the most logical time to do so. So, Quarians are over here, of course, at the far rim, and by far rim, they do mean far rim. It is pretty much as far as it gets in the galaxy from the Citadel. It is basically exactly the opposite corner of the galaxy. So yeah, this is the terminus systems over here in this sort of segment that you see, and this specifically in this area over here is the Perseus Veil, which is... There's something over there? I saw something highlighting for a second. No. Yeah, what? Excuse me. That. Oh? Say what? Say what? Uncovering a hidden system? A hidden cluster, perhaps? Ooh. Ooh, I am intrigued. No, it's probably something that we will eventually gain access to, but have not yet done so. So, okay, well, we'll keep our eyes and ears peeled to see if that does pop up on a later occasion. But yes, this area over here is the Perseus Veil, which is the deepest, darkest corner of the galaxy, basically, where there's this cloud of dust, which makes it hard to see through. And it also happens to be the place where the Geth have generally called home. And so, not so surprising to see the Quarians hanging out in that area as well, because of course, the Quarians and the Geth did both originate from Rannoch, which is probably somewhere in this general area. I think it might be a little bit further in this direction. It might be that spot right there. But that is a little bit strange if the Quarians are actually home to the Terminus, or they call their home a place in the Terminus systems. But perhaps the Quarians getting driven off of Rannoch is just one of the many factors that led to this section of the galaxy being destabilized and a hub of criminal activity. There's also another hidden spot here, yeah? Okay, we're uncovering some locations that perhaps we're going to visit eventually. Otherwise, perhaps these just little Mass Effect pathways or mass relay pathways that exist that just aren't of particular importance to us right now, but it's kind of intriguing. There's that one over there. You can kind of see where the dots are on the galaxy map. I'm curious if we can uncover any more, but like, that might be it. That one? No? That one? No? That might be it. Oh, this. That's one. Yeah, okay, see? We're on to something here. We're on to something here. Very interesting. The game has tabbed out. Mass Effect is like, no, Lids. You've seen too much. We must kick you out. Get out of here. Get out of here. Alright, if you insist, Mass Effect. If you insist.